Hi everyone, this is Gerald here, and today for this Freedom Friday, welcome to the Freedom Friday. Today we're going to have Tony. He's going to talk to us about the difference between multi-level marketing and multi-level crowd investing, so that you understand that what is happening in the DeFi space is actually very different from what happened in the legacy space before. And we've all been through, well, maybe most of us anyway, have been through systems like Amway and yeah, all those health ones, the different health systems, the different health products and cosmetic products, which were based on MLM. And I've been in a few myself, and I really wasn't comfortable when I was doing them mainly because I never had big networks in the first place, but also because I wasn't maybe totally convinced of the products that I was trying to promote and to sell. But here, what we're doing is we're not just promoting products; we are promoting a whole life-changing thing. We are promoting sovereignty. We are promoting complete independence and freedom. So I think without going further into it, I'll get Tony on. If I can just get Tony in. Guest is in the green room. Let's introduce Tony. There we are, Tony. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
One day we'll be super slick.
Yeah, well, it's great to be here as usual, and thanks to everyone for coming along and listening to what we've got to say. I think this talk is a very important one because I know a lot of people get tripped up on this concept of having to refer people and the multi-level aspect of it, or it's often referred to as a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme. So I want to show how there's absolutely fundamental differences with what we are promoting to a traditional multi-level marketing. We do sometimes refer to it as multi-level crowd investing. But I also like to refer to it as creating a circular economy. And I can explain some of the nuts and bolts so that you can see how there's fundamental differences here. So I'm just going to run through some of the concepts of what multi-level marketing is in its traditional form. It's a refer to earn system, really. So as you refer, you earn. And I know a lot of people go into multi-level marketing, including myself, we're quite desperate. I mean, I kind of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've got to, maybe I should do this multi-level marketing thing because, nothing else is working and I need more income. And when you're coming from that space alone, that mindset, I found that that's setting yourself up for fail right there. And I know a lot of people tend to want to make multi-level marketing a kind of side chain. And what I've discovered in my own experience that if you're just going to try and make it a side chain, it definitely will fail. Unless you've got a fantastic network built up already in multi-level marketing, and you're already kind of off and running. But if you're running your own job or you're running a business and then trying to do multi-level marketing on the side, it's actually very labor intensive up front, and this is why often it falls over, or you lose half your friends, you fall out with your family.
Yes, that's right.
They think that you're trying to sell them something under either false pretenses or under duress. So we have to know, again, this is why I come back to whatever we do, we have to have the right intention. And I know many multi-level marketing people have done very well, but if you look at the stats, it's a very small percentage. I've noticed that multi-level marketing schemes, the stats of the top people versus the rest are often mirroring how our actual financial system is today. There's a very small percentage at the top who get most of the money, and the rest of us are scratching around, trying to make a living. And then you have a band in the middle that do okay, like our middle class. There's some of us that do okay, but this is how I've noticed. There's a lot of parallels to the existing system, and I believe that's by design. So anyway, so you've got to refer to earn. And once you stop once you stop referring, that's usually where the income dries up. You've usually referred your family and a few friends that still sort of like you. And then you hit the brick wall and it stops. And that money you have made will go up to the top. And I know a lot of people try it and don't go on with it. So that's a lot of money that collectively is going to someone, and it's not you generally. So also with this, you've got to pay a membership fee quite often, and or you've got to buy a certain amount of product each month to stay in the game. So again, you've got all this product. Like I know here at home, Jenny's in a multi-level marketing stuff, and we've got these boxes and boxes of stuff that's going to take years for us to ever use. And we give it away. What we do now is we give it away. But I mean, it's sort of like defeating the purpose. But anyway, that's what it is. Also, with multi-level marketing, you need to create a significant downline to really make it work. That's really what you've got to break through that initial barrier. And there are some people that are very set up for that. They're very sales focused people. They've got the gift of the gab and they're built for that. But for a lot of us, including myself, I am not that kind of person. I cannot sell ice to Eskimos, and I'm sure a lot of you are the same. So, and often with that comes a lot of hype, and I'm not a hypey person. I believe we need to sell stuff that is serving a need, solving problems, and there are some good. Like I will say, there are some good products in multi-level marketing. But again, they're often high priced. I've noticed, and they come with a lot of hype, and they're expensive because a lot of money goes into marketing. So that's another downside. They are very. I don't know whether people have heard of the term churn industry, but I have dabbled a little bit in the churn industry. And multi-level marketing is a bit like that because there's a high churn of people coming in and out. A churn industry is like selling, like I had a stint at trying to sell the ventilation system. Forget what it's HRV. And HRV and they survive on that. They have a lot of people come in. They might sell a system or two or three to their closest friends or their family, and then it stops. And then they don't make it, and then they get churned out, and then someone else comes to take their place. And so multi-level marketing can be like that as well. So it's just an observation I've made. Often we're selling to people who are not motivated or skilled to on refer, and that is part of the problem. Even if you've got quite a lot of motivation at the beginning, when you if the person you're referring is not interested, then it's not going to build much of a downline after that. And if you start trying to convince them that it's great and you should be doing it, when you know in your heart of hearts, that it's not something you really want to push yourself, then that's why it doesn't travel, because it is an energetic thing. So it's just what I've noticed through many years of trying and failing at this, and from what I've experienced from a lot of people trying to sell me a multi-level marketing as well. I've just say point blank, no, I won't do it until decentralized finance and blockchain came along. Then I started seeing it in a whole new light, and I'll go into that. But I just wanted to outline all the sort of aspects of multi-level marketing the way I see it. So we've kind of got that context. It is very hierarchical, and that is also, it is like a pyramid. I mean, I think a pyramid is a very good symbol to use, much like our financial system, as I was saying before. Also, referring is the prime function of the model. You have to, it is inbuilt into the system. So that sort of goes back to what I mentioned before, that the model itself is a referring model, and only a referring model. So, you can't do things on the outside of that like we can with decentralized finance. So that's kind of that's the main things that I come up with off the top of my head as far as the way I see MLM is. And then I wanted to go into what I see MLCI as, or building a circular economy. And it's interesting because I've been thinking about this a lot ever since I came across the Ever-Rich model. And then I started to learn how we can literally be a co-owner of services that we use, and we can be a co-owner of assets that we have invested in. I thought, wow, that was when the real light bulb came on for me. And when I first heard the term multi-level crowd investing, was actually coined by Andrei Haratov, who's the founder of Everrich, UGPay, and the project we spoke about last week. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting concept, crowd investing, multi-level crowd investing. But what actually is that? Well, what it is it's basically as I say, if it's a circular economy, that's what it is, and referring is on the side. Your main focus, you are referring people, but the concept is that you don't have to refer them in order to invest. You can still invest and be a co-owner of that structure yourself without actually having to refer anyone else. You can just simply use it as a passive investment vehicle, and there is a referring matrix attached to that, which is absolutely optional. It is not inbuilt. It is not in the center of the system. The center of our system and of the decentralized finance projects we're looking at, DeFi and blockchain, that sits in the center. And what we're selling is, we're not, as I say, we kind of don't like the word selling, but what we're promoting is how people can be free, as Gerald says. It's about promoting freedom. Ultimately, it's about promoting your purpose. It's about promoting passive income as well. It's about promoting money, how you can earn money while you sleep. It's about earning a passive income while you get on and do what you're really here to do. And I think that this is what I call community referring or community building. I found that once I really got that and understood that, I turned a 1% success rate in multi-level marketing to a 90% success rate in multi-level crowd investing. It was literally overnight when the penny dropped. I just went, oh, boom. And I just started to talk to people about it in a completely different manner. I had the knowledge of what I was talking about, and which had taken me quite a few months, I might add. It wasn't something that just happened overnight. I really did a deep dive, and because I wanted to get my head around how the system works, and I wanted to be set up for any objections. And I basically mentioned it to people almost in passing, almost as oh yeah, I'm into this thing. You can be a co-owner in a co-op style business where you can have access to a huge amount of global asset and something along those lines. And people go, oh wow, yeah, well, tell me more. And I'm like, whoa, oh okay. And it sort of, and I was doing that with the intention that I understand the system is good, and I was only trying to really assist people. That's always been forefront of my work since I've been self-employed. Is I'm here to serve people. I'm an instrument. I'm just a human instrument here by divine grace, and I'm here to help others hopefully better their life and progress their life. And but I around the money issue, and around my own business, I was not a great promoter because I didn't really believe in myself that much. I thought money was either evil or it was not worth having. It was just it was just it's not for spiritual people and all of that sort of stuff. So I had to do a hell of a lot of belief restructuring and belief dissolving on myself before I actually got to this point. So I might add that this has been a 25-year journey around money and how to manage it. I'm very good at creating it. I was very good at manifesting it, but I was terrible at managing it, and it would just slip through my fingers. I didn't hold on to it because I didn't know how to invest. I didn't know that money should be directed towards assets and directed towards um, passive income sort of uh, passive income tools. I didn't have that knowledge. I didn't understand it. It's assets that we really need to acquire. Income needs to be put to work. So once I learned all that, and I came across Everich, and lockdown had struck for the last year, around March last year, I had the time as well. And then everything started to take off. That was really the beginnings of what led to DeFi freedom and what we're doing now. Um, so the decentralized finance platform and blockchain has really made this possible because it is a completely different model. The decentralized finance in itself is it's a level playing field. It is not a pyramid. It's like a flat plane, and the referring side is a separate adjunct to that. So you could say, but you're not trying to climb that ladder, that matrix. You're not trying to climb that hierarchy. You're you're doing your thing on the DeFi arena, and you're staking your coins, or you're lending your tokens to the platform, and you're getting a passive income for that. And as a bonus, if you suggest it to someone, they can also participate in the same thing that you're getting profit from, and the same reason you're going, oh my god, this is almost too easy. But it's freeing up my time, it's freeing up my energy. Ultimately, it will free up our time and energy. But I got very energized by sort of starting to talk about it. barring a few errors and mistakes. I know we made a few errors at the beginning. Tron case was a case in point. That was a very sharp, hardcore learning curve. But if we're dealing in the right platform with the right project, with the right people, and you can see how it works, and it's just becoming very automated, then those are the projects that we're now obviously aiming at, like Hyperfund, like Daisy. These are got all the fundamentals in place to go on and be very, very large projects and very good for us, especially in the mid to long term. You can see the results now, but it's in the mid to long term as it's investing. It's not spending or saving. We're investing, and investing is like anything in nature. It takes a little bit of time to grow, and we need a little bit of upfront patience with the knowledge, of what you're investing in, and with participation, with getting involved, getting engaged. That is really what it's about. So everyone needs more resources. Everyone needs more money right now. Everyone needs more income, and so really what we're really referring and helping people to do is for them to get more energy flow. We're creating better forms of energy exchange. That's really what it is. And as you get more energy from what you're doing yourself, then it's easy to translate it to someone else. So you've got to almost embody it. This is how I test and measure projects now. I feel it, I think about it, I feel it, I embody it. I literally play with what I'm dealing with, I learn it, and then it just comes out, it oozes out of you. You're not coming from the wrong space. You know in your heart, this is at least, nothing's 100% right. Nothing's going to be a guarantee, but it feels good. You can think positive thoughts about it, and you take action. You've got to take action on that, and it can be small baby steps. But when you're dealing with a platform like this, it becomes easy to then start talking to others about it. That's the whole thing, is I'm setting a bit of a scene. This isn't just, oh yeah, just do that and go off and do it. This is a bit more to it. And I found that because I had more energy and because there wasn't a pressure to sell, because that isn't central to the model, people were much more interested because they sensed it. So I don't know what it was, but they just sensed that I was talking about something that they would be interested in. So it was almost like reverse psychology, without me even thinking about it. It was because I was casual about it, but because I probably looked quite, maybe, I had a convinced sign on my head or something. I don't know. But anyway, I found that, and we are helping people who have a great need. I mean, there's a great need out there for people to be self-sufficient. It's just obvious on what's happening in the world today. So that's another key thing. Time. I want to pick about time. Time is. I always used to say, asset-backed money is the key, right? And energy. Energy is key. But time. I think time is actually probably one of our greatest assets, along with energy, because even though, I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, time is an illusion, right? Time is not an illusion. The sun comes up every morning and it sets every night. What's an illusion is running your business or your life by clock time. Clock time is an illusion. That goes along with the get up, go to work, come home, collapse into bed, get up and do it all again, or get a good job. And we're running by the clock all the time. So what can free up our time is things like DeFi and getting into crypto and getting into something that's going to create a passive income. And that in turn gives you more energy, which frees up more time, which just starts creating an upward self-fulfilling prophecy. It's really important to know that, every day when that time is gone, it's gone. Now you're into the next day. So you've got to start valuing time more than money, certainly more than money, because money is just a byproduct of putting your time and energy to good use. So this is what we want. And if we're referring people in these systems and we're all profiting from it, we're all getting a win-win, then to me, it's a no-brainer. So that's kind of what I wanted to impress about this time issue, because it's become very pertinent right now. A long story, but a few things that have been happening in the last couple of weeks. So this is what's enabling money to work for us. Isn't it great if you can wake up in the morning and see how much money you made while you've been asleep? And that's a pretty cool thing. And, because I say energy exchange, or you could say your currency is being reset right now, we have a wonderful opportunity to not only get into this, but get into it just before a huge tsunami is coming. A tsunami of this financial reset is coming. It's going to be blockchain based. It's going to be ignited even more by the big boys getting in. So I think we should position ourselves with our buckets out to catch some of that wave that is coming. Or we can just simply get in our boat, make sure it's not got a leak, and then we just go up with the rising tide. A rising tide raises all boats. So we just got to get in our boat, make sure we've got a good boat that's not going to sink and is going to handle a big wave, and then hold on, basically. So, this is what we're aiming for. Also the referring creates more liquidity to the program, to the platform. More people coming in, it's more money for you, that's more liquidity for you, but it's more liquidity for the platform. And if it's a good quality platform, it's obviously going to be like a magnet. It's going to attract good quality people as well. And those with eyes to see. I will say those eyes to see, because a lot of people will see the same thing that is profiting for us as a scam. And this is unfortunately how we've been programmed. Google told me it's a scam. I spoke to my friend. They said, oh, yeah, that's a scam. The bank says it's a scam. Well, then, to me, that's just sorting the wheat from the chaff. But I will say that a lot of projects are a scam. So this is where we can't have a blanket approach. We cannot go, oh, I know someone who got into crypto, that was a scam, or they lost or X amount of money, so I'm not going to get into crypto. I think that is a bad idea. I really do. And so we've got to look at the nuances of things. We've got to drill down into specific projects and platforms, and we've got to go, what's going on here? What's this all about? Check out the people behind the project, look at the system, look at their model, and look at what other people were saying about it and stuff like that. And then, we'll come to DeFi Freedom, whatever, and we'll try and guide you as to what we know, but we don't know everything. So, but we can eliminate the risk to a significantly small amount. That's the thing, is just manage the risk, reduce the risk, so that it's only really existential threats that are probably the only risk left, rather than actual fundamental systemic risks. Then it is the way I see DeFi. It's like a flat playing field, like I say, because we're all kind of on the same level. It's like we're a circle. If you imagine like DeFi in the middle, we, the people around, we put our coins in the middle, like we stake them or we sign up with in a smart contract, and then the proceeds come back to us in an even share. And I think point of stake, proof of stake, which is a lot of what these DeFi platforms and smart contract platforms are based on, is the way of the future, because we are all participating. It is as much as you put in it as much as you get out of it. So that's pretty cool. So it's this concept is baked in. It's baked into the system. It cannot be changed. Even distribution for all, depending on your input. And but we're making the money work for us. We're being our own banker. We're doing what the banks have done with our money in our own hand, in our own wallet, with no one being able to get into it and just steal it. And this is the difference as well from just pure central bank created money, which may or may not come. I say may not because a lot of key people are now saying that CBDCs, they may never get off the ground, or if they do, it could be years away. And I think they haven't got years. So if they don't get it off the ground soon, I think they'll miss the boat. But if they do bring them out, I think all it's going to do is going to be great for DeFi and what we're in, because when it is going to be the way to onboard the masses. Bearing in mind, 80% of the people don't even own any crypto, or a lot of them don't even know what it is. So if they have to get into it, they're going to find DeFi. There's always going to be bridges between. There have to be bridges. DeFi community is already over 200 million. It will be 1 billion in 2 or 3 years. And this is not me speaking that. I'm quoting Raoul Paul and other experts who know the stats. It is far too big to ignore. And so I think that Facebook, Google, they're all getting in. Amazon, the whole lot are getting in. So if they're getting in on it, where's the money going to go? It's going to find its way into DeFi and real crypto. So I think position ourselves now, get into a good project, or buy your favorite token that's got fundamental utility coming. And this is the same with our projects. They must have utility, they must have use case amongst a community of a sizable community of engaged people. And then we're off to the races, really, I think. So we're not selling products, we're selling time, the necessity to have more time. We're selling freedom. We're selling your vision here. That's what it is about. So that's my take on the difference between multi-level marketing and multi-level crowd investing or community building. Gerald, you want to?
Yeah, well, I think you touched on something that's that's really powerful, and which relates to what we talked about before, which is the Metcalfe's law. And it seems to me that in multi-level marketing, okay, the more people they're in, sure, there's more product sold, and the company makes more profit, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that the more people they're in, those people who are in there, the people who are working and selling and referring and all that, are getting more money. Yes, they get more when they get more referrals. However, in the DeFi space, the more people who come into this space, the more people we share into this space, the more the value of the space increases, right? And so the value of the coin increases, the value of the whole DeFi space increases. So in a way, the more people that we help come on board, those people are going to benefit from the increased value, and we are going to benefit from the increased value, according to Metcalfe's law. So it's really exciting, because then it encourages us to to invite more friends into the pool so we have a better time in the pool.
Exactly. We're going to have a good time. You've got to share it with someone. Otherwise, it's not much fun drinking alone, as they say.
That's right. And so, and it seems to me, and as a marketing person, because I've done a bit of digital marketing, internet marketing, and one of the big things about marketing in the 21st century is that it has changed from what is called push marketing or broadcast marketing, or you remember the old days. You're watching a TV, or it's actually the worst in the US. It's every 5-10 minutes you get ads. At least here it was every 15 or 20 minutes. And the ads come on and they're always at a higher volume than the rest of the program. Remember that?
Yeah.
Until they actually regulated it, it became regulations. But that was the push marketing, and you'd get these ads which were completely irrelevant to what you are interested. It's like, what the heck is that? I'm not interested in that. But it was broadcast to everybody in New Zealand, right? And so that was the push marketing. The inverse of that is pull marketing, where through what we share in the world, whether it's by writing a blog or doing courses or even doing, DeFi freedom and things like that, people get attracted to it because they resonate with it, and that's the best way to draw people into what and to share what you're doing. So I was talking to someone the other day who's involved in a business cryptocurrency. We'll tell you about that in the future. But he was saying he doesn't push this concept to people. He just talks a little bit, like you said, Tony. You talk a little bit about it, and they get really interested, and then they want to get into it. And then once they get into it, he says to them, do you know of anybody else who'd like to get into it? And they say, yeah, I know, Joe Blogs and Tom and whatever. And then they bring their friends on board. So within 1 year, he's built himself a really large team, and everyone's benefiting from this. So
that's
yeah.
Whereas in our existing system, usually when someone is benefiting, someone else is losing. And
Yes.
that's the problem with, that's what a lot of people say the problem with capitalism is. But I don't necessarily wonder whether it's capitalism. I just think it's the way the system is constructed as like with money, infinite money printing coming from a central authority. It's skewed against us right from the get-go. And so we need a better model. That's what we need. The model is broken, and look, it's collapsing. It's almost free fall collapsing now because it's just come to its use-by date. It's finally collapsing because people's awareness and energy is rising.
Yes.
So yeah. So as Blair says, another reason, coin supply is shrinking as well. So it's not inflationary. What we're dealing with, inflation is what's sucking us dry. We're in danger of heading to hyperinflation, which is only going to benefit the cabal. That's their way of vacuuming up all the assets that people have to let go of, their homes and that, because they can't pay the mortgage, because they're over leveraged in debt. But if we have a deflationary money supply, or even better, a growth-based, token or crypto, well, then we are all benefiting directly in that sense.
Yes.
So this is great things coming. It's just we are going to have to negotiate the rocky period of the transition.
Yeah. And perhaps for you, or what we are trying to do in DeFi Freedom is because some of these concepts are actually quite complex. I mean, when you look at Evo Rich, even Daisy is quite complex. And so what we are trying to do, what we've learned from you guys and from trying to share with you guys, is that we need to simplify these things into concepts that are easy to understand, and that you can correlate with things that are happening in the traditional world, you know. And so you
Gerald,
understand.
every time, sorry, Gerald, every
Yeah.
time you're talking, there's a sort of a weird kind of hissing sound.
Oh, okay. I better not move my hands then. Is it okay now?
That's better.
Okay, it was just me. Maybe the my paper was over the microphone. Sorry,
No, no.
guys.
Yeah, there's a
um,
swishing sound, and it is quite off-putting.
okay, maybe
Yeah.
also you need. Okay, you still getting it?
Yep. Every time you talk.
Oh, that's strange. Oh, dearie me. Um, okay,
Yeah.
sorry, guys. Maybe I should
Maybe
put.
that's a sign that you should.
Maybe that's a time I should shut up. Yeah. Um, no, but okay. If you can
Right.
bear with me, I think there's a few interesting things that have been brought up.
It's all right now. It's
Oh,
all
it's
right
all
now.
right. Maybe because it knows that I'm going to start talking some sense. Um, but as you get into this and you start understanding more and more about it, and um, you start seeing how it could benefit you, start thinking yourself, who else could benefit from this the way I'm benefiting, or who else could get as excited about this as I'm getting excited? Because to tell you the truth, guys, the more I find out about what we are doing, the more excited I get, and the more I want to share with people. And that's what Tony has found himself. So start thinking about, okay, who would really benefit from this, and just keep it in your mind. You didn't even have to talk to them about it. But I think serendipity will start coming in, and you'll start connecting with these people, and somehow there'll be an opportunity where you can share with them something, and then they'll get interested in it. So if you don't like this idea of referring, and just put it away for the moment, but just think about the people who you think would really benefit.
Yeah, I think a key thing on that is if you're worried about the referring, put your time into understanding what you have just
Exactly.
bought and
Exactly.
understand it inside out. Get to
Yes,
know how it works. There's a saying in the crypto community: know what you hold,
that's
and you
right.
must know what you are holding. If you're doing it without taking any responsibility for what you've just bought and just like money, just putting it in a drawer and I've done that now. Now what's
Yeah, yeah.
next?
What's next?
That is
Yeah,
that is not the way to play this
yeah.
with crypto. I'm sorry.
And
It's
especially with the projects that we are sharing with you. Actually, what we've shared with you about these projects is only the entry level. Each of these projects that we've shared with you, Daisy, Hyperfun, EvoRich, has actually deeper and deeper levels. The
mm,
people who have devised these projects have thought very deeply over long periods of time, and they're levels that we don't even know about yet. So these are projects with depth. I mean, I remember we did a couple of projects, like you said, Tron Case, Tron Moon. Those were a single level project. It was put your money in and try and get as much out of it, and that was it really. But over the next period of months, we will share with you the greater and greater depth of these projects. And the more you understand that, the more you see the bigger picture about them, and you see how they fit together. I think,
well, like what
yeah.
you've just discovered with Hyperfund
Oh,
last night.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was looking at Hyperfund and I thought, well, what is there to Hyperfund? And I started exploring. I actually looked at this due diligence document, which I've uploaded in the course, and also I put up in Telegram. And I read through that, and at the end it says, Hyper Pay, Hyper Credit Card. And I looked into those, and I realized there's actually the Hyper Pay wallet is a fantastic wallet. It's a very complex wallet, but now that most of you have got experience with the basic wallets, you will soon be ready for the Hyperpay wallet. And in there, there's incredible stuff, investing, yield farming, staking, all sorts of interesting things. So,
and a way
and
to
attached and
and it's a
attached to
way to
that is a credit card, is a debit card, an
yeah,
international card. So, and an exchange, and a place where you can get your money out of Hyperfund, convert it to MOFs, and then send it to your Hyperpay wallet. So Hyperfund connects with this Hyperpay wallet almost seamlessly. So, yeah, incredible stuff that we are starting to find out. As we explore these, then we'll share more and more of it with you.
yeah.
And you'll find that it'll become easier for you to share with others, because you'll say, well, I mean, these things are no-brainers. I mean, why, it's so easy to share. So what if you are not successful at selling or referring despite all the best invest? Yes, of course it works as an investment, indeed. And
Because you're putting your
yeah,
investment in it,
yes,
it's
indeed.
it's gonna it's gonna immediately produce, return as
And
long as you're in the
also,
right one.
I think it's going to reflect on you. People will start seeing you like more relaxed. No, you're not. Well, I don't know about you, Charlotte, but but a lot of people, they may be stressed or anxious because they're not sure where their next money is coming from to pay the bills or the mortgage or whatever it is. But if you're able to create through your own investment an income stream, it's going to change your whole life. It's going to change the way you look. It's going to change the way you behave, and people will start noticing that, and they'll be saying, "Hey, you're looking more like this or like that. What's happening with you?" And you can then say, "Well, actually, I don't know, but I think I'm feeling better because I'm feeling more comfortable financially, or whatever it is." And then they'll want to know, what happened there. They want to know how you got to that state and why you look so great.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, yeah, no, the whole concept, one of the central concepts to the investments we're into, Charlotte, is that you don't have to refer, like we've kind of,
yeah,
we may have missed the beginning, but I
yeah,
went quite in depth in that. You do not have to refer to earn. It's one of the big differences between traditional multi-level marketing. You put your money into a project on a decentralized platform with smart contract capability, and you can stake your coins. You can do a thing called yield farming, which gives you a passive income, and then you've got the prospect of the token going up in price as more people adopt it.
yes,
And then there's other knock-on opportunities which we can go into as you get more in depth in this. One thing leads to another, leads to another. I mean, I'm almost 100% in crypto now. I'm 100% in crypto.
mm,
Uh, and so is Raoul Paul, and he's worth millions. And he's
yeah,
actually 100% in crypto. That's how much these big guys are getting into it. And I'm surviving quite well, you know.
mm,
So I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm not saying anyone should. I've sort of evolved to this point. I hasn't come overnight. I've been delving into this since 2015 intensely.
mm,
So, and it's only in the last year or so that things have really started to accelerate.
yeah,
But you've got to start somewhere, and it's better to start on this side of the tsunami than on the back side of it,
yes,
because
yeah,
you could find yourself uh, drowning rather than swimming.
struggling, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
And I think what we've found, Tony and I, as well, is that when we learn, we're starting to learn because we've built the DeFi Freedom platform. We are The whole point of the DeFi Freedom platform is education and community. So when we learn with a view to teaching. And I think that is really the best way to learn. So for some of you who are just learning this system and saying, "Oh, I've got, I've got mind blanks or whatever," just calm down and say, okay, how would I package this so that I could teach it to someone? And then you do your research and see, you could maybe write notes and say, okay, how do I make an analogy out of this that someone could understand? And that will help you greatly to understand what you are invested in more deeply, but then eventually how to teach people to do the same thing and bring them on board, you know, as referrals. And then you'll find one day you don't have to send them to us. You don't even have to send them to watch the videos. You can actually show them how to get started on Hyperfund, how to set up your Daisy, you know, and eventually how to get into Evo Rich, set up your own bank and all those things. And what we're going to find is, as Tony said, as the crunch comes, the financial crunch, and people are not just us aware people, but people out in the mainstream, all around in the whole New Zealand economy and globally, they will be looking for solutions. And this is where we can then go out and say, well, look, this is what we've been exploring for the last 6 months or 1 year or whatever, and show it to them. And they will want to come on board too, because then they realize that this is where the independence is. This is where the full control is, you know. And so that is going to be another great tsunami, the tsunami of people coming on board. And you are in a position where you'll be at the tip of the tsunami, and you'll be introducing people into it, and you benefit greatly from it, and eventually it's going to lead to income for you and your estate, you know, and the people who come after you. So have a think about that.
Yeah, that's great, Gerald. And yeah, we have the possibility of creating generational wealth here,
Yes.
because this is a great wealth transfer. It's often referred to as that, because money is moving from one asset class to a whole brand new asset class.
Mm.
And that asset class is based on blockchain and crypto and DeFi. And it's just that the big boys are obviously trying to make sure they control it, but they've already lost control. They've already lost control. They're having to play catch up. They're investing in these DeFi projects just like everybody else. They are not the initiators of them. That is a huge change.
Yeah.
They're having to follow us
We are the
into it.
first movers. Yeah.
The first movers were the people. The institutions haven't even really got in yet.
Yeah.
That's when the extra big wave will come, is when the institutions are forced to go in, and they're waiting for regulation. That's what's holding everything up. It's great for us because it's giving us more time to get in on the ground floor, you know, on something that's going to be so huge, people have got no idea how big it can be. And I'm not talking about having a lot of money. I'm talking about
Yeah.
designing the world and the earth the way it should be, where we've got the resources and the time to do what we're supposed to do instead of being a slave to the machine. And it is machines, you know, the AI machines, you know, can work for good or bad. But the other thing I wanted to mention that you mentioned right at the beginning, when you're teaching, if you're explaining to someone about this, models are a fantastic way to do it. And we will go into modeling.
Mm.
And Gerald and I did a course called Thought Leaders, and they have a fundamental model that I absolutely love. And it basically goes like this. It's at the top you have the context, and your context is your why. It's the big picture. It's like, why are you doing this? For the big vision, the big reason. And in the middle you have the concept, and the concept is something like, it could be a multitude of things. Like, concept could be, for instance, how can you get financially free for you and your family and future generations by getting into DeFi? You can get financially free. Another concept could be How can I earn a passive income so I don't have to work anymore? Um, Concepts are ideas. So there's a multitude of ideas that we could have around what we can achieve as a more midline goal. And then it's not the purpose, it's the goal, it's the ideas, it's where you put your thinking hat on. And then underneath that, you have the content. Okay, the content is all the nuts and bolts and details of how it works and what it is. And what is the blockchain, for instance? What is DeFi? How does it all fit together? Show me the details. And there's a lot of people out there that are very technician focused and mechanics. And they need to pull it all apart. They need to understand, well, how. Their big question is how. Whereas mine is more a why, I have to say, but I'm learning better to, it's actually how, what, and why, or how and who and why. And I've mentioned this in other times all the time. Your three key questions are your building blocks of anything. If you know why you're doing it, how you're going to do it, and what you're doing, or who you're being while you're doing it, that's the Trinity. That's the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. That is what the Trinity or the triangle or the pyramid is part of what it's teaching us in
Yes.
geometry. So have the foundation of how, what, and why.
And so I think that, yeah, because the why, I mean, I'll put it up again, but Blair says that the why is really about building better communities, isn't it? I mean, we all want to live in a better community, and a better community is one that is wealthy. And because when there is wealth, there is no need for crime. There is no need for people getting, well, there is less need for people getting irritable with each other and being desperate and all that dog eat dog kind of stuff. When there's wealth, there's more ability to eat well and then to educate ourselves. So I think if we, as a group, maybe we should put a mission statement together or something, about how we can build better communities. That's a really great one, Blair. And of course, the wealth is the byproduct, but it could also be, it's like a circular thing. The wealth can produce the better communities, which then produce more wealth, and the wealth is just the medium of exchange. Yeah, so that's a great idea that you've brought up, Blair.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, that's yeah, like as Kim says, not build back better. Yeah, that's right. I think we need
Right.
to
Yes.
define what is better, because everyone's going to have an idea of their better, whatever it may be. So I think we need to define, and within communities, you're always going to have different perceptions.
Sure.
That's what makes a great community. When you've
Yeah.
got different ideas, you've got different skill sets and different strengths and weaknesses. But as a community, I think a better community is one that's working as a unified whole, and where everyone is on the same basic playing field. Everyone's on the same level, and there's no have and have nots. There's no division between people, whether it be poverty, whether it be race, color, creed, whatever. This is about inclusivity. Inclusivity is a community, not an exclusive community, which is the way the world has been created.
I don't quite understand what build back better means. Can you explain that, Tony?
Yeah, build back
It's
better.
obviously an expression, a Kiwi expression, maybe.
It's a catchphrase
Right.
that the elites are using
Right.
to build back what they call a green economy. But it's based on it's moving a few deck chairs on the Titanic. It's got
Right.
some lovely gloss, but they're building back better they know the system is collapsing. Because they are collapsing it.
Yeah.
And which is actually going to be another thing that's going to kill them, because Uh, they can collapse it all they like. We actually need it to be collapsed anyway.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
think that they're going to
That's how
build
we'll
back
benefit
together
from it. Yeah,
from the ashes of that. The thing is, uh, the other things have come along now that are putting a few spokes in their, a few, sticks in their spokes and their wheels. So
yeah.
anyway,
Well,
um,
we need to have the idea that from disaster comes opportunity. From fires in Australia, gum trees grow again, sort of thing. So, and the whole point of this DeFi space is to enable us to plant our stake in the opportunity where the fiat world collapses, then the actual world of real assets and real value then can take its place. And that's what we're doing. We are building our foundations for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Does anyone have any questions about anything? We can
Yeah.
just open it up to general questions. It doesn't have to be about this topic. It can be about
Oh,
anything about
yeah.
DeFi, crypto. Um,
Although, I
fire.
mean, if you've still got some worries about referring or the concept of referring or even the concept of multi-level crowd investing, what is the alternative? I mean, for instance, for something like hyperfund, what would the alternative be? Would it be that they would have to advertise on Facebook or yeah, what is the alternative to actually referral? Um, and we come back to what I said about the broadcast marketing, where you have to put ads on TV that try and tell everybody to buy this thing and buy that thing. Well, that's not a good way to market, is it? So, in fact, the most traditional and the most historical way of marketing was through word of mouth and referral. That's how, the blacksmith got known and the swordsmith got known, and you want a good herbalist. Well, you would ask your friend, do you know a good herbalist? And they say, oh yes, Mary down the road she's really good with herbs and whatever. And that's exactly the same thing. uh,
And that's another good point. It's something
yeah,
I didn't mention, but
yeah,
I have thought about
yeah,
is that if we are referring amongst our community,
yeah,
then we are not consumers of the existing cabal system.
yes,
If you go to any mall, if you go to a bank, we're channeled we're channeled down corridors to their big, stores and everything else. And we're referring amongst the people. We're literally withdrawing our money into their
yes,
circulation because
yes,
their money is circulating above us in this huge amount of money that's not even coming near us.
yes,
And if we're circulating the money amongst the community, that's what enriches the
yeah.
community.
And
And at the same time, we're pulling our energy, money, and energy away from them. The
that's right.
fees,
And the
fees.
projects don't have to spend millions and millions on marketing because we are doing it. We are doing it, and so what they save on the marketing gets to be shared amongst us even more. Um,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just as a case in point, with DeFi, we get to share in the fees. That's where some of the proceeds of the staking comes from,
yes,
is from that.
yeah,
Uh, but fees, banking fees, every day runs into billions and billions of dollars uh, taken out of our pockets. There's a collective amount as in fees alone in banks. I mean, that's insane. So those billions of dollars are now can be played with us.
mm,
This is what the banks have been doing with our money forever, as well as the fact that they are stripping us dry of the fees. And then when we put our money in the bank, they don't give us any co-ownership or
no,
shareholding in the bank for
yes,
us depositing it. Whereas Everridge, that model does. That's
yes.
where we get to profit, and DeFi is very similar.
And that's right, and that's the whole point about buying tokens. Is when you buy a token, you are actually buying a share,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you're buying a share of ownership. That's what a token is basically. So, yeah. So Blair asked an interesting question. You know, when if or when the U.S. dollar collapses, you know, what's going to happen to the value of stable coins? Well, I suppose, from my point of view, because they're pegged to the U.S. dollar, they will go down with it. But then you can bail out and put it into something else. You know, you can put it into Bitcoin or an altcoin. Actually, I'm not sure what would happen. What do you think, Tony?
I actually think there will be a new standard. The US dollar has been the reserve currency of the world,
Mm,
backed by oil.
yeah,
Um, and this is part of the Build Back Better. They want to take that off the oil standard. They're trying to kill the US dollar, so it's not going to last.
yeah,
But I think there will be a new type of stable coin that will emerge, that will be fully or partially backed, and it probably will be a strange area at first because the cabal, I know they are attacking stable coins at the moment because they obviously they aren't in on the action. They don't like that. So, and I think Tether is a bit of a scam because it's not 100% backed. So, but I think there will be a new standard, and it
yeah,
could well be XRP. It could well be XRP as the new standard. And so a token is going to emerge, a new one, and
mm,
then we will use that as a benchmark instead of the US dollar.
yeah.
But when the US dollar goes down, it's going to get messy. It's going to be very, very messy.
Oh,
So don't hold your money in stable coins. You're better off holding it in your favorite token.
yeah. Or otherwise, perhaps it will be maybe gold will come back as a I don't know as
Yes, I actually that is a distinct possibility. Gold or silver could also back one of the new digital currencies
yeah,
uh,
and
as a
they're
reserve.
working on that,
Yeah,
isn't it? There's a few that are
they
being
are working on that in the background.
yeah,
Um, so I think gold will figure because they've announced Basel 3. Basel 3 is a new uh, reconfiguration of the banking system, and gold is elevated as a number one asset. Whereas, believe it or not, gold was not ranked as a tier one asset. The fact that they are doing that
yeah,
says to me gold is going to figure somewhere in a new
yeah,
economy.
and the price of gold will probably also shoot up as well in
Oh,
terms of
oh God, yeah. If
yeah,
it's going to be backing a currency, it's going to go up as well as silver. I think
yeah, yeah,
silver will go even higher in a percentage because it's heavily used in industry as well as being used as
sure,
money.
sure. So Carolyn was asking. She's going to talk to some people about hyperfund, but she's not sure what you're investing in. Um, Before I turn it to Tony, I think what you're investing in is yourself. That's why, personally, the way I see it, and probably I could be wrong, but what I see it it is like a DeFi savings account in that you put your money in, it triples, and it is sent back to you. It's given back to you, and then as it's given back to you, you put it back in the pool, and it just builds and builds the pool. So it's really an investment in yourself because actually the hyperfund company doesn't need your investment at the moment because actually they're super capitalized. I mean, these are people who are billionaires. But I think what the point is of the hyper fund, getting people into that, is to build up a community that is then going to be part owners of all the other ecosystem of hyper fund,
Yep.
and that will come in the future.
Yeah. Initially, it's probably it's a yeah,
Yeah.
it's a way to put savings to truly grow your money to create a passive income is probably the immediate goal.
Yes.
Uh, and yes, I have heard of Luna, and yes, I do believe it is a stable coin,
Yeah, I don't
and
know
I
if
hear
it's
good
stable. It's
things.
doing really well.
I hear very good things about Terra
Yeah,
and Luna.
yeah,
Um, I quite. I haven't invested in it. I didn't know much about it until fairly recently, but from what I hear, it sounds really, really good.
if you want to know, I'm not sure if it's a stable coin. In the last year, it's gone up by 18,000%. So it's even better than a stable coin.
No,
It's a
but they have been talking
Yeah, I
about
think
it.
that Terra
They're
is
making
a stable coin. I think.
They're either making it as a stable
Yeah,
coin. I think Terra and Luna are two different things.
yeah,
Obviously, one's related to Earth and one's related to the moon. So they've obviously got two types of currency running. And from what I heard, that yeah, they're either going to make it into a stable coin, or it was already a type of stable coin. But I'm not sure how it works with the price going up. It's supposed to be stable, supposed to be a guaranteed, stable, always consistent to $1.
yeah.
So I haven't delved into that to know the
I think
answer.
from the little that I've seen, have a look at the Terra project. I think it's actually a really really interesting project. They've got
It's
some
a
really
solid
interesting.
project,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
And someone's asked, can can you see an Ever Rich masterclass coming? Yes, definitely.
Yes.
We are going to focus. We've got a bit of time with Ever Rich. We don't need to be too rushed because it's off the market till the 22nd of February. Um, we got a lot of interest in the presentation last week. So what I think we should do is we will do an actual nuts and bolts, content
Mm,
rich
mm.
dive into Everrich, and I'd like to think we can do at least 2 or 3 of those this side
Yeah.
of Christmas,
Yes.
because it is our probably our biggest and most key project. It's got so much potential as a new economic system, possibly for the world. It's certainly going to be a self-contained ecosystem in its own right. And if it really caught
Mm.
alight, it
Yeah.
could become absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Imagine a quarter of the world, billions of people, all co-owners in the world's key assets.
Mm,
That's the
mm.
vision,
Yeah.
and I don't doubt it could happen. We're considering where he's come from, and where it's already valued at. It's huge.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
uh,
Well, we're not going to have a master class in Evo Rich. We're going to have many master classes because it's such a huge topic. And
yeah,
I think Tony, you can do a couple of master classes, well, a few more than a couple. But we are also talking to Neil Morrison, who is the New Zealand leader, right? Is that right? Or one of them anyway.
well, he's one of
So
the well, he's one of the global
yeah,
leaders.
he is, and he's happy to come and talk to us specifically about what he knows and what his experience and the information that's coming directly from the founding team. So we actually have gold there, and so hold on to your seats, watch this space. We will be having some, I think, some really awesome Evo Rich classes coming through.
Yeah, and what we could even do some onboarding sessions, because
Yeah.
enrolling and going through the
Yeah.
process is quite complex.
Yes.
Because there's more than one. There's Everrich, there's UG Pay, there's
Yes.
Academy of Private Investor, there's Global Unit Pay, there's Unitex. There's a whole of a lot, and so we've got to try and
Simplify.
disseminate all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, that's in the pipeline, and we hope to do we will do a hyperfund in-depth tutorial as well with Rhiannon. So what were we going to do next week?
Monday.
Yeah, what were we going to do on Monday? I've already
You're doing
forgotten.
hyperfund. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
a
yes.
nuts and bolts.
Yes, so I will be doing a hyperfund walkthrough with those of you who want to join hyperfund, and so I will walk it through step by step, from registering to the exchange, sending the money from the exchange to Hyperfund, purchasing your package, and then once you've reached a certain amount, how to put it back into the pool, which is called doing a rebuy. So I'm going to show all those steps for you so that you're completely on board and you completely understand it. And it's as simple as that. To get into Hyperfund is really, really simple. And then you'll be able to show it to other people.
But
Yeah.
if you're brand new to crypto,
Yeah.
it's a little bit complex at first because you don't know that you have to set up an exchange. You can't
Yes.
purchase in Hyperfund itself. You've got to buy the token on a separate platform,
Yeah.
send it to Hyperfund or send it to your wallet and then send it to Hyperfund. So for a complete brand new person to this,
True.
it
Um,
is it's all
yes.
relative.
Yes.
It's
And what we're going to do is actually everything is on the website. So so what we're going to do is on next Wednesday, we're going to do a walkthrough of the DeFi Freedom website where we will show you all the parts of the website, where to go to find this, where to go to find that, so that you know exactly and also coming to the forum, how to participate in the forum, because the forum will in the future become our community meeting center where we can ask questions and people can propose answers or share or whatever it is, start discussions. So we'll do that next Wednesday. So that would be really good for you to find out how the website works and how to navigate and where to find the things. Because the whole thing with Hyperfund is it's all there on the website. How to set up an exchange, how to register, how to purchase. The first step I would suggest to you is go to the website and go to the beginner's course, the free beginner's course, and run through the whole of that. And once you've gone through the whole of that, that will set you up for quite a bit, and then we can move into the next bits. Then you're set up for the next bits. Yeah.
Yep. You've got to do things in the right order with crypto.
Yeah.
You can't do things out of sequence, otherwise if you miss a step, it's not going to work. You might even lose your money. So it's very important to be detailed and be fresh and clear and not doing things at late at night when you're tired or when you're grumpy, or you've got to be quite settled in yourself and can't rush. Do
No,
not rush.
don't rush.
Patience, patience is a virtue.
Okay. Backing up Exodus wallet. Okay. No, but we'll do that. We'll do that maybe the following week. Definitely we'll do that because that's really important aspect as well. Backing up
Yeah.
your wallets and yeah. So we'll do that maybe the following week. Okay, cool. Any
Okay.
last questions? No? Otherwise, I hope this has been really helpful for you guys in sort of giving you confidence and understanding the system. We can invite for Monday Hyperfund. Well, I think it was going to be a premium tutorial, but I will for this particular one, we're going to open it up to newbies. So I put it on unlisted. So maybe what I'll do is I'll share the unlisted link. I'll send a newsletter out, okay? So we're opening this premium tutorial to everyone because we want to give everyone the opportunity to get into Hyperfund. So watch out for the email I'll send out soon. Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, have a fantastic weekend and see you next week.
Right. Thanks a lot, as always.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.